Welcome back to my channel. My name is Raymond. I'm the team leader of HAUS Real Estate, and we sell real estate in Toronto and the Greater Toronto area like York Region and North York, just to name a few. Now, pre-construction condos are everywhere. You look anywhere in the city of Toronto and the surrounding areas, you're gonna see cranes in the sky, and before they can even put the shovel in the ground, they have to be 70% sold. So when you see them being built and you wonder, hey, who bought those? Well, somebody already bought them before they even start building it. But in today's video, I want to talk about the pros and cons of buying pre-construction condos. Now, I personally myself bought pre-construction condos. I've also bought resale condos, and with our clients, we sold both resale and pre-construction. So here's my realtor unbiased opinion of the great things with pre-construction and the things that I'm not so fond of. Let's start with the pros. Let's start off on the positive side of things. Listen, at the end of the day, you're buying something that is brand new, and that's nice. People like new things, and they're willing to pay more money for new things. And it's a nice feeling when you can walk into something and know that you're the first person that lived there. And it's first use of any appliances, you get it brand new. I would say that's a pro. The second advantage of pre-construction is the deposit structure. What I've found from selling real estate in Toronto for more than 13 years is that monthly payments on the mortgage aren't necessarily what's holding people back from getting into the market. It's the deposit structure. If you're buying a resale property, you're typically putting between 5 and 20% down, but you have to do it all at once. But when you buy a pre-construction property, they have a staggered deposit structure. So it can be anywhere from 1 to 4 years when you're paying 5% at the beginning and 5% within 180 days. Now it gets to 20% total before occupancy, and now recently we've seen builders doing promos as low as 5 to 10% deposit before occupancy. And you don't need to pay the remaining amount until final closing, usually in the form of mortgage. So you have a lot more time to save up for that down payment, and you don't have to worry about the mortgage right away. Pro number 3 with pre-construction condos is that you may be able to get into a neighborhood that you couldn't have afforded otherwise. So what I mean by this is sometimes you see new developments going to a community where the average home price is over $1 million, and you can get into it by buying pre-construction condos for $500,000 or maybe $700,000, whatever it is, but it's a lot less than what it costs to buy a house in that exact same area. So you get to enjoy all the amazing things about that community without having to pay the price of what it would have cost to own a freehold house. We've actually seen this strategy used for a lot of our clients that have gotten into the pre-con market, is that they buy into a neighborhood they really like where condos are slowly starting to pop up that were previously just filled with freehold housing, which was obviously costing way more money. The fourth pro is that you get to choose your upgrades, like you get to make this condo exactly what you want to be. Now you're going to pay a little bit more, and sometimes it's cash on closing for these upgrades, but you get to go and decide exactly what package you're looking for, and you get to make this condo yours, and that's really exciting. And the last pro is that you are covered under a 7-year tear-on warranty. Now everything is covered for that 7 years. It is staggered, and you can look online on what I mean by staggered and how it works, but you are covered under warranty, and that is nice to know when you're buying something new. Now, we're going to get negative for a second here. We're going to talk about the cons and the things that you need to be aware of, and what I find a lot of people have no idea about when they're getting into the pre-con market. Number 1, they cost more money, and not just a little bit more, significantly more money. Right now, on the average in the Toronto condo market, pre-construction as of right now in 2022 are starting at the downtown core at about $1,600 per square foot, $1,600. To give you context, a resale condo at the exact same area is probably trading at about $1,200 per square foot. So right off the bat, you're paying 25% more. You're paying future value for a product that you're assuming by the time that it's finished, it'll be worth what you paid when you bought it. Now, if history has showed us anything, it's worked out so far. Sometimes we even see a 30 to 40% premium if it's a landmark project at an unbeatable location. So just so you guys can understand, because I find the general public perception is sometimes that they're getting a deal or getting a great price on pre-con that they're going to be cheaper, and that is certainly not the case. So this makes sense, right? You're buying something that is new, so it probably costs more than something that is used. but you're paying a premium, and you have to understand that when you're getting into the market. Just make sure you do your homework. Number 2 is HST implications. So I could do a whole video just on this topic alone, but basically if you're buying this property and you're going to move in there yourself, you're not going to have to worry about this. But if you're paying as an investment or you're going to rent it out, you might have to pay a certain percentage of the HST on closing, and it could be a good chunk of money. It could be pretty surprising if you don't know about it. You can apply for an HST rebate if you rent out the unit and show a lease, but again, there's a whole lot of things you have to understand. HST implications can be a large sum of money on closing, and you need to make sure you're ready for it. Number 3 con is that if you're buying a resale condo, you have 2 things you have to expect on closing. It's land transfer tax and lawyer fees. If you're buying a pre-construction, you're going to deal with development fees as well. Now, most developers at this point will cap the development fees. Let's just say if you're buying a 1-bedroom, you're capped at $6,000. If you're buying a 2-bedroom, you're capped at $10,000. 3-bedroom, you're capped at $15,000. Now, this will change depending on the development, and most developers will cap the fees at this point. But these fees on closing, they cannot be put into your mortgage. So on top of the land transfer tax fee and your lawyer fees, you're going to be paying development fees. You're going to know what's going to be up to a certain amount of money, and on top of that, there could be HST implications, as I spoke about previously. Okay, next up on the con list is interim occupancy. Some people might argue with me that it's actually a pro, that you can get into the building early on, but basically, there's a period of time when the units are finished, but typically the amenities aren't finished. Maybe the front lobby is completely finished, the elevators still have like wood paneling all up, and where you can actually get the key and you can move into the property. However, during this period of time, it's not a legal condominium yet. It's not a condominium corporation, so that means you can't have a mortgage on it yet. Now, interim occupancy should only last 4 to 6 months, but I've seen some buildings that are lasting over a year, and during this period of time, you're basically paying a percentage back to the developer to be able to have access to your unit before the building officially closes and becomes a condominium corporation. So basically, you're paying rent to the developer, which is not helping you build equity. It's not going into your mortgage for a certain period of time when the building is not technically even finished yet, even though your unit is finished. This is something we see a lot in Ontario, and I think in other markets around Canada and North America. It's different where you can only get the key when the building is completely done, but this is the norm if you're buying in the Ontario market, specifically the Toronto condo market. You're going to see this everywhere. And my last con is just that the developer holds the cards. So at the end of the day, if they want to change your floor plan, if they want to take your ceiling height down half an inch, they don't legally have to get your approval because they hold all the cards. Now you can fight back, but in my experience, typically the purchasers don't win these battles. And on the other side of things, like projects once in a while gets cancelled, and there's nothing you can really do about it. You get your deposit back, but over that period of time, you're not going to get the equity that you could have earned if you put your money into something else. So that wraps up the pros and cons. If you stuck around to the end of the video, thank you so much. If you want to follow us, you can check us out on Instagram. It's at the HAUS Team. We are very active on that platform. If you want to book a meeting with me, a buyer consultation, a seller consultation, or you just want to chat about Toronto real estate, in the description below, my link is there. You can book in a time that works for you. Thank you so much for watching this video, and remember, we put people first.
It sound right, boy.